I'm happy to be here. It's Sunday and the day I typically try to do my viral wisdom little thing that I do. And this is class number or session number 66. 66 times since the pandemic began. So how is everyone? Tell me how you're doing. Pop in a comment, check in with me. How are people doing in terms of their homeschooling and how that is going with their children? What's a word you would use to describe your current emotional state? And tell me where you're calling from or where you're checking in from. What's one word that would describe your emotional state? Hi Henry, Laura, Supriya. I see you all signing in. I have Facebook and Instagram open right now. So happy to be here with all of you. Just waiting for a few more people to sign in before I delve in deeper. So what's one word that you would use to describe your situation? Fatigue, anxiety, sad, COVID fatigue, fragile, calmness to see me from New Jersey, present, lots of big feelings, I know. So today I'd just like to begin with some great news on my end. A book that I wrote with my dear friend Rini Jain is out. It's been out, I think, for a week. It's already debuted at the New York Times. Instant bestseller number 3 on the New York Times. It's also been on the USA Today, topping the top 100. So buy your book, Superpowered. You can go to my website, drshefali.com/superpowered. The link will be posted here. Grab your copy. It is the book of the times to teach parents and children, although it's written for kids. Every parent should read it to learn how to teach anxiety management, coping skills, transformation of fears into courage, all that good stuff in this fabulous book called Superpowered. Order it, go to your indie bookstore, go to Amazon, go to my website, get the book, Superpowered. So we're really super excited because, you know, as you all feel, we are in this heavy, big emotion zone as a globe. And so much stuff is coming up for so many people. We've experienced loss, we've experienced change, we've experienced death, we've experienced transition, guilt, sadness, disconnection, dysphoria. There is so much big stuff coming to the surface because this is what crisis do. Crisis does this. Crisis brings up the rawest emotions because all the cover-up defenses that you have been used to right now are not working anymore. I always say as a therapist that the only way people change is when they hit rock bottom. And what does rock bottom mean? Rock bottom means that the usual defenses, the usual, cover-ups, not working anymore. And you are naked. You are raw. You are real for the first time, perhaps, because you see yourself in the mirror without embellishment, without the mask, without the makeup, without the hair dye. And you have to confront who are you in the mirror. In a state of anxiety, in an age of anxiety, I think we've been in an age of anxiety for the past decade at least, especially since social media came about. Then there was a meteoric rise in anxiety. And in an age of anxiety, it is typical for us to do one of two things. We either withdraw and become apathetic, listless, and depressed, or we react in rage, anger, and out of control reactivity. We eat too much, drink too much, yell too much, scream too much, punish other people, blame other people, and we get addicted to something on the outside. We look at something on the outside as the linchpin rescue salve. That on the outside is going to rescue me. So we either blame the other till they rescue us, or we get angry with the other till they change, so we think that now we can be rescued. We look at something on the outside as the core, or we blame ourselves and we become withdrawn and depressed. Blaming other, blaming self. Blaming other, blaming self. This is what we do when we are anxious. When we are anxious, we vomit outside or we vomit inside. So you have to decide if you're doing one of these two things. I am seeing people in my life vomiting all over the place, either outside or inside. Either it's going to make you sick because you're suppressing it and it's eating you up from the inside, or you're going to destroy something on the outside. You're going to sabotage your work. You're going to be late in a project. You're going to yell and scream at your significant other. Going to yell at your children. You're going to either disconnect on the outside or disconnect on the inside. So why don't you pop in a comment and tell me, which one have you been doing? If you've been doing anything dysfunctional, is it inward or is it outward? I would love to hear and see what your pattern is. Inner destruction or outer disconnection. So this is what happens when you're in anxiety. So you have to recognize, whoa, I am decompressing, I am discombobulating, I am coming apart, and now you know that it's because of anxiety. Anxiety causes so much inner perturbation that you seek control, and you either shut down from inside or you shut out from outside. You scream outward or you scream inward. So the delusion in the mind when you're anxious is that it is really something on the outside that's causing this. Something on the outside is causing this. Or you blame yourself. Something on the inside is causing this. And you seek to create a solution. Eating, yelling, screaming, drinking. I'm saying this over and over so it clicks with you. Anxiety on the inside causes a perturbation and causes a reaction, either inward or outward. And then that reaction can show up in different ways. Eating, drinking, yelling, screaming, procrastinating, gambling, starving yourself, over binging, overspending. Or inward, it looks like apathy, listlessness, procrastination, depression, panic attacks, phobia, paralysis. So I'm covering all the gamut to show you that it's your time to wake up and go, whoa, I am disoriented on the inside. I am really unequilibrated on the inside. My equilibrium is falling apart. My inner stability is really messed up. And the beautiful thing, if you're awake, is that your outer world begins to show you your inner disequilibrium. You have bills that are strewn, unpaid. Your boss is upset with you at work. Your partner is not talking to you. Your children are upset with you. Many signs like this on the outside give you an opportunity to wake up to go, whoa, what am I creating? What on the inside needs to be woken up, needs to be realigned, because my outer world is totally showing me that I am out of sync. My weighing machine is showing me that I'm putting on weight. My skin is showing me that I'm falling apart. I don't have time to do my work. I'm behind deadline. I am acting out. My boss, my friends, my family. These are signs. One time something on the outside can get messed up, you can go, you know what, it's them. Second time something messed up, you can go, it's them. But how much can you keep pointing the finger to go, it's them, it's them, it's them? When are we going to wake up and go, maybe it's me. Maybe I am creating a domino effect that I'm pushing the external world to fall apart around me. And who suffers? We suffer. So when are we going to wake up? taking full accountability for our own co-creation in all things we manifest. This is the only way to turn our life around. Now, in a situation like what we're going through right now, it's a shit show, right? It's like wherever I turn, it's confusion, it's disarray, it's mayhem. You don't know who to believe. You don't know what to believe. You don't know what's real, what's fake. It's okay. You're never meant to know what's real and what's fake outside of you. The fact that we lived many years and decades believing the news, wow, that was a luxury. But that was not a necessity. Not a necessity. You don't need to know what's going on with Trump beyond a point. You don't need to know his diagnosis. You don't need to know who's going to win the election. You see, we think our equilibrium depends on who wins the election. I mean, me personally, just like die, if it doesn't go how I want. That's all. But I know that that is not my big self talking. That's my little girl talking. Please hold it together. We cannot have a repeat of the past 4 years. But that's just my little girl. My big self knows that my equilibrium doesn't depend on who wins the election in America. My little girl, yes. But my big self, no. So I'm talking to your big self right now. Okay? Your big self. Even though 23 and a half hours of the day, I'm in my little self looking up polls, just holding my shit together. Okay? But half an hour, I'm in my big self. So I'm going to talk to your big self, okay? Because right now, on Sunday and in Viral Wisdom, I'm in my big self. At least I hope. So, what does my big self tell me? And that's what I'm going to tell you. Big self says, no, I know you think that your happiness depends on the other person, on who gets elected as president. But it doesn't. It's an illusion. Because today it's this, tomorrow it's that. The problem is never the person on the outside, damn it. It's always your attachment to what you think you need from the outside person. So my attachment, 23 hours of the day, is to really seriously believe that my happiness depends on who gets elected as president. And I'm partly correct, but I'm not fully correct. And wisdom comes in understanding all of it. So really, we want to believe that our happiness depends on our partner, on our children's happiness, on the weighing machine, on how someone thinks we are, on the other person's opinion of us. It does not. Is it an annoyance? Is it a problem? Yes. But our happiness, our inner joy, our inner self-esteem, our inner worth, sorry to say, never depends on the outside. Never, 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 never. What does this mean? This means we have to grow up and take responsibility. If we're anxious, it's because of something on the inside. If we're worried, it's because of our unresolved wounds. If we're panicking, it's us, 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 us. And it's so easy to call the other one a jackass. So easy to call the other one an ignoramus, moronic, buffoon, baboon. So easy. But still, that may be true, that they are completely buffoonery, clownish, idiotic morons. True, true, true. But it doesn't still allow you to depend on them for your sense of worth, them for your happiness. The only holy grail, the last crucible, the last meal, the last point of no return is you. Is you, is you, is you, is you. And no matter what, no one can take your inner worth away. So if you're giving it to someone else and you're blaming someone else and you're in your delusion thinking, it's mostly the other person. No, it isn't. It just isn't. The fact that you're with the other person brings it back to you. The fact that you're allowing this other person to be in your inner terrain, to be in your inner real estate, is you. Is you. So look at your causes and effects, all the things that you set up in your life, your cause, your effect, your cause, your effect, and take accountability. If your life isn't working out right now, and if you're losing your shit all over the place, and yes, the other person is a buffoon, and the other one is a moron, and the other one is a liar, and the other one is a narcissistic sociopath, psychopath, all true, but it doesn't matter. The fact that you're allowing them in your inner space is on you. And the fact that you're nervous and your inner equilibrium depends on them, ultimately is on you. Because if you want to live a life of joy, a life of power, a life of vivacity, vitality, you have to take it in your control. Life will not give it to you. Life will take it away, in fact, because that's the nature of life. Life is unabashedly, brutally, neutrally cruel, because it just is. It's cruel only because we are attached. It just is cruel in terms of its impermanence. Because of its impermanence, it feels like it's personally cruel. But it isn't. Life just is. Our elected officials didn't get elected by angels and nymphs and goblins. No. The elected officials in America got elected because of millennia of cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. It just didn't happen that we have a racist president. No. It happened because America's causes and effects led to that. Similarly, if you right now in your life are unhappy with your boss, it's not just your boss. It's your causes and effects that created you and your boss. Similarly with your partner, similarly with your eating, with your health, with your children. It just didn't come to be because you are, ill-fated or you have bad luck or poor you. No, none of it. You are an active co-creator. America is an active co-creator with its elected officials. No such thing is just on its own. So when will you take responsibility for your part on the global and in the micro? So start with the micro. All you can really control is you. And what does that really mean? Is wake up. Wake up to how your anxiety is acting out. How your anxiety is out of control. It's your anxiety. And where does your anxiety come from? From lack of healing, lack of consciousness. Right? When we are unhealed within, we vomit on the outside. And when the nation is unhealed from within, it's a shit show. When our health is not healing, we have a pandemic. When our mental health hasn't healed, we have a global crisis like we are having right now. When our inner racism and bigotry is not fully healed, we have the Black Lives Matter movement. What to do? Nothing is just in this moment. Everything has been carefully co-created and co-constructed over millennia. And that's where we come in with renewed consciousness to disrupt the pattern. Now, disrupting a pattern takes so much courage. It takes looking in the mirror and saying, you know what? I am part of this fuckery. I am part of this madness in my life, in the global life, in America's life, in my kids' life. I am part of it. So how can I clean myself up? I have to start with me. My biases, my stereotypes, my projections, my displacements, me. I have to heal me. Am I a purveyor of compassion? Am I a purveyor of love? And let me tell you, love and compassion doesn't exist without consciousness. Love and compassion doesn't exist without compassionate, conscious boundaries. You have to stop putting that cookie in your mouth. You have to stop yelling and screaming at your children and your partner. You have to stop acting out. And you have to create boundaries against those who act out in your life. So turn off the social media. Turn off the news. Turn off when you see somebody on the news that is spewing garbage. Stop taking it into your inner terrain. Create boundaries. For once and for all, create boundaries against your own inner unconsciousness and against the unconsciousness of others. So this is what it means to disrupt patterns. Patterns cannot be disrupted by you saying, I wish for a favorable outcome in the election. I wish people would just start loving each other. I just wish he would stop doing that. Yeah, it's great to wish, but wish is apathetic. Wish is listless. Wishing is passive. Wishing and hoping and praying and, passive. What is a conscious way you can be an activator of change? Conscious activism is not passively going, I wish. No, it's first taking conscious action in your own life. How can you be a conscious activator of your own healing? First, if you are on edge, if you are anxious, if you are operating out of injustice, you are then adding to the pool of unconsciousness in the world. So first clean your own self up, heal yourself. Let go of the toxicity in your own life. Create boundaries, say stop. Start cleaning your own inner terrain. Are you living a life of alignment? Are you living a life of purpose? Are you saying no to toxic elements in your own life, within yourself and outside of yourself? Are you doing that on a daily basis? If you care about the globe, if you care about the earth, if you care about America's politics, if you're in America, you are lying if you first haven't cared about the state of your own internal affairs. So don't care about what's happening on the global scale. Don't care about what's happening out there. Care about your own inner stuff. Don't care about the racist outside. Care about the racist inside. Don't care about bigotry on the outside. Care about the bigot on the inside. Don't care about ill health outside. Care about your own inner health. First, clean yourself up. You cannot be a conscious activist if you are spewing illiteracy and unconsciousness from within. So conscious activism requires psychological healing on the inside, spiritual growth. You cannot talk the talk without doing the inner work. And this is a wake-up call to create the boundary within your own acting out inner self and the inner self of other people who have been acting out around you. Say stop. No more. No more enabling bullshit behavior. No more enabling unconsciousness. Speak up, but from truth, from higher truth, from big mind, not from your small mind. Right now, I'm trying to be in big mind. Sometimes I mess up, but I try, at least with you, to wake up the big mind in us all. And the big mind is to not be dependent on anything on the outside for your worth, for your joy. When you begin to clean your own inner soul, spirit, essence up, you cannot act out. You understand? All this acting out in all these rallies, people protesting, people yelling, people spewing hate, all it really is a reflection of their inner disarray. When you are aligned inside, you cannot hurt anyone on the outside. But it doesn't mean you don't create a boundary. It doesn't mean you don't say no. But no is not a violent act. No is sacred. Say no. No more to yourself and to others. Saying no more to your own inner unconsciousness and to the unconsciousness of others is not an act of violence. It is a sacred act of truth. But hating, spewing hate, spewing unconsciousness, now that is violence. So the people out there who are being violent right now, who are not propagators of peace and compassion, is only because they are so divided on the inside. So divided. So I'm asking for us to understand them. Have compassion. Compassion doesn't mean you marry them. Compassion doesn't mean you give them money. Compassion only means you understand that they are operating out of unconsciousness, so you don't participate in the unconsciousness. The other day, somebody was very unconscious in my life. Very, very, very. 100. On a scale from 1 to 100, 100. So I had to really activate big mind and go, do I want to participate in the same level of unconsciousness? Nope, I don't. But how do I put an end to this? Well, I have to create conscious boundaries. I say no, but I don't engage. It's very hard to say no more, but you don't stoop to that level of vibration. Very hard. That is conscious activism. People always ask me, how do we say no more, no more, no more, no more, without stooping to a low level of vibration? Conscious activism is staying high, saying no, creating a boundary, but no violence, no hatred. Oh, it's so hard to do. It's so hard to do. My mother made me promise. I bet you she's watching. She's like, promise me. Say swear. Pinky promise. She doesn't believe me, obviously. You will not say anything mean about anybody. You know who. No mean things. So I'm like, I won't. Because my higher self, my bigger self knows that he is not the problem. He is the symptom of the bigger problem. And the bigger problem is a symptom of the micro problem. So at the end, the answer is me. Is me, you. I'm pointing it out to you. And that's why this book is so amazing. Because it teaches your kids how to manage their anxiety. No, seriously. I know it feels like the whole Viral Wisdom was geared to market this book. It isn't. This is the book. All my work is aligned. So every book I write is the perfect book. It is. My next book, perfect book. Why? Because I'm writing from alignment. Sorry, but I am. So this book is perfect. It's for your kids. It's for parents to transform anxiety into courage, confidence, and resilience. If our president had this book, if his inner child read this book, he would understand that he's just a very anxious, lost soul. That's all. He's not an evil person per se. He reacts in evil ways to his inner lostness. So can we parents teach our children to deal with their anxiety, please, so they don't grow up to be anything like that? But we parents need to do that first, yes? We need to handle our own inner anxiety. Superpowered, get the book now. Okay, so I want us all to be in big mind now. It is time for us to shift the gear. We've said how much we don't like this, don't like him, don't like her. We've said it. I've said it a million times. But the point is not that now. The point is for each one of us to heal. If we don't heal, the outside is not going to heal. This is the sad truth about consciousness. The parliament will not heal, the Senate will not heal, the government will not heal, because each body consists of individual consciousnesses, no? So if the individual consciousness doesn't change, how is the global consciousness going to change? And who is the individual consciousness? You and me. So we speak up. We speak up from consciousness. We say no more from consciousness. But no more violence, no more hatred, no more bigotry, no more acting out. Basically, we take care of our inner children. What you're seeing out there in the global pandemic in terms of leadership is little children, toddlers leading America at least. So we have toddler consciousness in America. I say this all the time. Toddler consciousness. Maximum teenage consciousness once in a while. But an out of control, crazy teenager on drugs. Yes, that's what we have right now in the leadership in America, right? And we're like dying here waiting for the teenager to grow up. It's not going to happen. We have to grow up. The teenager was put in charge by other toddlers, you see? By other toddlers who were in their unconsciousness, they chose a toddler. So where are the rest of us? If we think we're so adult, if we think we're so amazing, where are we? We have to speak up. And we have to speak up from a higher vibration. Because if we enter toddler consciousness, as yummy as toddler consciousness is, because what is toddler consciousness? Toddler consciousness is, I hate you. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to grab your toys and destroy them. Why, toddler? Why will you destroy my toys? Because I don't like you. That's not a reason, toddler. What's the real inner reason? Because I hate you. That's not the real reason. That's like very immature and primitive. Well, because you are the cause of all my problems. I know, toddler, but what's the real... You're talking to a toddler, right? How can you talk to a toddler? But that is toddler consciousness, and we are all prone to enter toddler consciousness when they're toddlers ruling the country. No? When the parents are toddlers, the children... It's hard to grow up, but I'm saying we can grow up. We have to grow up. We have to raise the bar. We have to raise the vibration. We have to understand that at no point can we act out anymore. So in our personal lives and in our global lives, we cannot act out. Let the other person act out. Let them go nuts. You just say no. No more. No more. Create a boundary, but no more hatred, no more violence, no more fear. Because what we're seeing on the global level is global fear, right? The real pandemic is fear. The real pandemic is racism. The real pandemic is our mental illness here. So it is a wake-up call like no other. This is not about your kids. This is not about their school. This is not about the grades and the teachers. This is not about college and the SAT. This is about our mental health. We are having a mental health crisis in America. What you're seeing in America, I don't know what the other countries see looking at us in America, but what I see is a mental health shit show crisis. Okay, we are in crisis here. Not the COVID crisis, a mental health crisis in America. We are seeing the sickness of our mental health. Now that's what crisis does. Now, all of you out there, not in America, experiencing loss, experiencing death, experiencing transitions. I know my family is experiencing a huge loss of someone. It's time to bond. It's time to connect. It's time to come together. It's time to cohese. It's time to rise, right? And this is what I tell my family all the time. It's time for all of us. It's time for all of us to connect. And this is the global answer to any crisis. Connection, not disconnection. But you understand why there's disconnection. It's very clear to me. There's disconnection because there's acute anxiety. When there's acute anxiety, we tend to disconnect. That's why I get this book. When you take care of your own inner anxiety, you have compassion, you have healing, you connect. But if you're out of control in anxiety, you will disconnect. So if anyone listening to this had in the last 2 weeks or more a moment of utter acting out, utter insanity, utter insane projection, displacement of feelings to the other, to the outside, please wake up and realize it was your inner anxiety. And therefore you need to heal. You have to heal. You cannot go around vomiting on yourself or on others. On the global level, this is what is happening in America at least. Global or domestic, international and domestic vomiting. Right? But here in America, we see it so acutely. It's a pandemic of projectile vomit. Unconscious inner vomit. How many ways can I say it? I'm just keeping on repeating myself because I want us to wake up. We're all vomiting. And until we heal, individual by individual by individual by individual, the greatest gift you can give this pandemic back, the greatest gift you can give the earth back, the greatest gift you can give your children back is take a self-help course. Take your tush to therapy. Get a coach. Get help. We need help. Do we not understand we need help? And what is the answer? Psychological awareness, psychological healing. I'm not saying it because I'm a psychologist, but I became a psychologist because I understood if we're not whole from inside, no point for economic prosperity, for any sort of technological prosperity, if we are psychologically unhealthy. And we are psychologically so unhealthy. Families are falling apart, divorces are abounding, rape, incest. Why? Because we're psychologically so effed up. So what is the solution? Psychological health. How do you get psychological health? You take your ass into a meditation retreat, you go to therapy, you ask your friends for help, you say, I need help. I'm in trouble. I'm acting out too much. Drop the facade, get into your vulnerability, get help. And for those of us who are working on ourselves every day, and if we have unconscious people in our lives, it's time to say no. Go get help. We can only solve this through psychological healing. There is no other answer. The problem is a severance between mind and heart. The problem is that our heart has been buried under hate. The heart is under hate. Until we recover the heart, we will not resurrect ourselves or the nation. And the only way is therapy, healing, coaching, self-help. I don't know what you want to call it. Go do it. Meditation. So I offer meditation courses, self-help courses, but I have another program that I'm going to talk about right now. If you email info at drshefali.com and put in the subject #help, I have counselors who are willing to give you 30 minutes of a free consultation to then decide if they can help you, and then you may have to pay them. But you can talk to my counselors, my coaches from my coaching institute. So we have created this program and we've helped hundreds of people. #help, write to info at drshefali.com. Now, we cannot take everybody. If you're too serious a problem or you're really falling apart, we will recommend you go to someone else. So get help. Start taking your healing seriously. Meditate, self-care, self-help, coaching, therapy, medication, a retreat, whatever you need to do. Recognize your anxiety may be out of control. You may need help. This is the time to ask for help. And get my book, Superpowered. Because your kids are feeling anxious and they need help. And for those of you who have got the book, spread the word, take a picture, tag it, Superpowered, #Superpowered. Leave a review on Amazon. Get superpowered, everyone. Thank you all for listening. I just wanted to wake you all up in a gentle way to go get help if you need it. Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening to my Viral Wisdom number 66. I will see you when I see you.